But you have UFC Greenville this weekend, headlined by Moicano versus Korean Zombie. This is going to be a very violent show, but I'm going to take you through some of the betting odds. Deron Winn, a minus 300. Eric Spicely, a plus 220. It got Spicely back in the UFC, but not an easy task. You have Ariana Lipsky, minus 280. Molly McCann, a plus 240. Alan Crowder, a plus 185. J.R. Rosenstruck, a minus 225. Anderson Dos Santos, minus 120. Andre Ewell, a plus 100. You have Luis Pena, a minus 380. Matt Wyman, handsome Matt Wyman, still at it for the love of God. I forgot that he existed. But handsome Matt Wyman has been at it for 13 years now in the UFC. He is a plus 315. You have Dan Ige, a plus 125. Kevin Aguilar, a minus 145. Then we move into the women's fight. Ashley Yoder, minus 120. Shuri Kondo, who has a bit of a crossover connection there. She is a plus 120. Do any of these stick out to you?
Dan Ige's value, plus 125. I'll put 5 on that for sure. Luis Pena at minus 380 over Matt Wyman. I think that's fair. We're talking about a guy that's Matt Wyman's been competing forever, so he's going to have tons of MMA mileage.
I remember him from the finger wag and getting knocked out from it by Spencer Fisher.
Yeah, it was way back when. Wow.
How about this? A little under the radar, but Matt Wyman has won 3 of his last 4. He's won 6 of his last 8, but he has not competed in 4.5 years, Joe.
That's why that Pena line's at minus 380. It's almost like, give me the fight, get it over with. Now, I've said it a billion times. MMA is MMA. Anything can happen. But Luis Pena has been putting on a bit of a show recently. Not a fantastic show, but the kid comes to fight, right? He brings the pain, and I think it's going to be he's going to do well in this fight. I think he emerges victorious. Other than the Ige fight, I mean, Spicely, like you said, is it's not going to be a good fight for him, to be honest with you. But other than that, Ige for me is at plus 125. Taking nothing away from Aguilar, but Ige's not getting love from anybody. He's a tough dude.
Matt Wyman's career is just so. I mean, some of the guys that he beat, like Isaac Valley Flag, who I remember was winning a couple fights outside of the UFC and then retired. Paul Sass, who won at Bellator in 2013 after he got cut and just hasn't fought since. And Michihiro Omagawa, who lost his way out and then fought a bunch in Japan, including for World Series of Fighting, like won 4 in a row, didn't fight anymore. Wild, man. Wild. It's weird to see his name there. It's so weird. You have Alessio Di Chirico, a plus 185, Kevin Holland, a minus 225. That kind of rounds out some of the unknowns, along with Randy Brown, a plus 230, Brian Barberino, a minus 270. We've learned in our time here at Fightful that Brian Barberino is always live, and he is finally being shown that respect by the bettors at a minus 270. But then we move up. Andrea Lee, minus 225, Montana De La Rosa, a plus 185. We didn't cover this, but some good news, and hey, I'm not going to pretend to know Andrea Lee's motivations, priorities, or concerns, but Donnie Aaron got locked up, and they caught him after 10 months. That can't hurt her mental state. That's for damn sure. Not having to wonder where a guy that allegedly abused her was. Anything stand out to you about the Barberina, Andrea Lee, or those subsequent fights?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, Barberina, he's got to be everyone. So, like, if you don't like the way this guy competes, you got to be a donkey. I mean, the guy is fantastic. He's there to ruin people's hype trains, right? That's what he does, and I think it's gonna be a good scrap for him. It's difficult because I'm sure he wants to be on a more well-known platform, a better card, but I think he'll be fine against Randy Brown. And of course, Andrea Lee, I think you nailed it on the head. The mindset may have changed throughout this training camp, not having to worry or look over your back or wonder what's happening. It's always going to be there for her. No ifs, ands, or buts. But maybe this is a training camp where she was able to just finally focus and say, all right, I can do this. I can do what I want. I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm really okay as opposed to before. And let me show my skills and my style against Montana De La Rosa, and I think we're going to see her shine this weekend.
I mentioned Shuri earlier on, Shuri Kondo, if she doesn't win this weekend, she's probably facing being cut. And the fight with Ashley Yoder, it's a plus 100, so it's not like completely out of the realm of possibility. If Shuri Kondo gets cut, mark my words, if she makes the move back over to pro wrestling, she will become a big star. She will be on the likes of like Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, and she will have a style that a lot of people outside of WWE, if she does the fights in America, because I mean, hey, if she's fighting in Greenville, that means she can take some wrestling dates in the States as well. She will be a great pro wrestler. Already is a pretty good pro wrestler. Did a lot of stuff for CMLL, does a little bit of everything from submission wrestling to kickboxing to MMA to pro wrestling. Keep your eye on her, guys. Just do it. As we've seen, losing your way out of the UFC does not mean you can't make it as a pro wrestler. If anything, it gives you even a little bit more credibility just having that UFC experience. John Lineker, minus 210. Rob Font, a plus 175. Of course, this is going to be a good fight. You just know it. You just know it, Joe. Who do you got in this one?
Well, considering John had that split decision loss to Corey Sandhagen, I'm sure he's super ticked off about that decision. He wants to avenge that and keep himself relevant. And of course, when you think about Rob Font, his last win over Sergio Pettis in December, like this is a high quality fight, right? And remember, Rob Font went the distance with Rafael Assunção. Okay, this guy's got skills. He beat Thomas Almeida, so this is going to be a barn burner of a fight. And I think it's going to be Rob Font's going to have to rely on his technique to do the very best he can to not get caught up with John Lineker's brawling style, because John Lineker, as we know, one punch, game over, right? So I think it's going to be a very technical fight, man. It's going to be interesting to see how Lineker's mindset, because Lineker can stay focused for 15 minutes and hunt you down. He can do it. Hunt and hunt and hunt and put pressure on you. But, Rob's got to be very, very careful here. Very, very careful.
Lineker has not lost two fights in a row in like 10 years. That's what he'd be facing here. And it was very clearly that early on in his career, he was ill prepared. He was like 6-5. And since then has lost, I think he's like 25-4 or something. So no tall task to put him away back to back. He ran into Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen just really good. And he's been facing really good fighters for a long time. He's beaten Rob Font before. And you know that Rob Font wants that win back. You just know he does. We know that Rob Font can go all 3 rounds with him, and that was 3 years ago. So it's a matter of him getting that done again. Then we have Korean Zombie, a plus 170. Renato Moicano, a minus 200. I don't know how, outside of making this completely ugly and a Hail Mary, I don't know how Korean Zombie can win this one, Joe.
I got Korean Zombie winning this fight.
Do you?
My
God.
He went the distance pretty much with Yair Rodriguez, right? Like the last second spinning elbow KO. 1 second left in the fight. And Yair Rodriguez is a bad, bad man with some explosive striking. Moicano getting destroyed by Jose Aldo Jr. Where's his head at, right? I think it's a fantastic fight. I could see why Moicano's a favorite. I get it. That's where the bookies originally put that line. I know how much it's moved from there, but something's telling me Zombie pulls this off, man. I think the Korean Zombie pulls this off. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I just think he's going to pull it off. I don't care if I'm wrong.